Leo was fielding a team with only one underclassman that most of those seniors had never been starters. So when he told the record courier before the season that you can't lose 12 good boys to graduation and expect too much, he might have been telling the truth, although assistant coach John Lowry believes that in his heart of hearts, Leo thought he might pull one last one out of the hat. Leo had to open the season in a strange position, facing a new team coached by his own former player. Field High School was a consolidation of Suffield and Birdfield and was more than twice Windham's size. Their coach was Dale Crigg, whom Leo had coached over a decade earlier. And Crigg had learned his lessons well, edging his old teacher 29-24. Leo was furious. He had become enamored of the new Oklahoma defense and had installed it during the preseason. Then it gave up 29 points in the first game, and Monday at practice, Leo's first words were, "Hell with Belden, boys. We just can't run that Oklahoma defense." He scrapped it on the spot and went back to his standard 5-3 formation. He never blamed the players. He blamed himself for losing that game. That was Leo Todd. He was always a realist. He told his boys what to do, and he gave them the opportunity to go out and do it. But if his plan was wrong, he took responsibility. And that 5-3 defense, featuring senior Jerry Downey, and underclassmen like Pete Spiker, Lenny Koch, Bud Myers, Ron Nutter, Rick Purdy in key positions, became the unsung wall that held opponents at bay while the offense got all the glory. And it was glorious. Just like the season before, the Bombers began decimating the PCL. They finally beat Newton Falls. Danny Ruff scored 5 touchdowns against Broostown. 4 different players scored in a shutout of Randolph. A Crestwood team featuring future Pro Hall of Famer Jack Lambert fell 40-8. Streetsboro, in the middle of its first winning season ever, went down 18-12. As much as Danny Ruff was scoring, he was usually double-teamed. So Steiner, Pinson, Falls, and Jones were also getting enough touches to frequently reach the end zone. The team was almost giddy with its success. Playing for Leo was fun, but this was better than anybody expected. Nobody was going to stop the Bombers this year. Or so they thought. Because the showdown for the county championship was moving on the field of Southeast High School, out on County Highway 18, the longest road trip of the year. Playing quarterback for Southeast was Larry Harris, today famous as the coach of Mount Union College, which seldom loses a game. But as a senior in high school, Larry Harris was the hard-throwing successor to Tom Curtis as the most feared passer in the league. Leo prayed for rain. He actually said so in the game preview in the paper. The game day was bright and hot. And the game lived up to its billing. Harris dribbled the Windham defense with passes that ultimately it was 3 Bomber fumbles on the rock-hard, grassless surface that did them in. That and the officials. Danny Ruff erupted on one of his patented 54-yard breakaway runs, and 6 seconds later dropped the ball triumphantly in the end zone. With behind him a yellow handkerchief fluttered to the ground. Dave Falls, who was nearly as fast as Danny, ran convoy right behind him for the entire trip. And just as Ruff was about to cross the goal line, the last Southeast tackler, instead of heading for Danny, headed for Falls. Right in front of the official, he ran in front of Falls and executed a flop worthy of Anderson's Rayfield Cavaliers. It was obvious that everyone in the stand that the clipping signal was the nail in the Bomber's coffin. So it was over again. Doomed to yet another second place finish. Play out the schedule, turn in the equipment, watch basketball. Maybe even lose another game along the way. Aurora was coming to town and they were as good as ever. But Leo Koch wasn't going to let that happen. He never quit until the game was over. He might tell the paper that he wasn't sure if his boys could get up for the Aurora game, but he practiced the team just as hard that week. It paid off in the highest scoring game that Windham Field had ever seen. Ozzie Pinson set a school record by running back 2 punts for touchdowns. Ruff, Judy Jones, and Bill Hall each had a touchdown. Alan Koch either kicked the first field goal in Windham High School history. And the Bombers won, 36-22. And then the impossible happened. Southeast lost to Kent State, 8-6. Suddenly, the last game against the Garfield G-Men coach Eric Hubert assumed monumental importance because a win meant that the Bombers could claim a share of the Portage County League Championship. Now, Leo was unusually quiet that week. Everybody knew the stakes, but the drawing was methodical. There were no changes because both the offense and the defense were in crackerjack shape. The variable was the weather. The headline in the Saturday morning edition of November 5th, 1986 bears the headline that a killer storm hits the Great Lakes. The sports section carried the story of Southeast's Friday night win over Kutztown. They had their share of the title, and now it was the Bombers' turn. The weatherman wasn't wrong. By game time, the field resembled an Arctic tundra, with 6 inches of snow covering the field. The players were half frozen and completely miserable as they took the field. Leo Koch brought out every trick he had learned in 17 years as the Bombers skipper.